Hey guys, I want to welcome you to this video demonstration of how to use your website. This is a website built on the Weebly platform, and Weebly platform is a fantastic platform. Allows us to really build some really nice custom websites, but then allow you as the user to be able to use it very simply. So if you can use Facebook, if you can add an attachment to an email, you're not going to have any problems with this website whatsoever. But let's go ahead and get started. You should have received an email from me, from Loggerhead Designs. Would have looked something like this in your inbox. Would have said Patrick Brown has invited you to edit rgtchurch.com, and you just click here to get started, and it'll pull up a screen. May look a little bit different than this one. It may actually have a link on it up on the top right that says, sign in or create a new account. So what you'll want to do is you'll create a new account. It'll ask you to use your username, which is the email that was sent to you, and then you put in your own password for that. So we're going to go ahead and log in. And again, if you have any trouble, any problems with it, feel free to give us a contact. I'll give you the telephone number and an email address that you can contact us if you have any problems. Okay, so you should pull up to your actual dashboard. Looks pretty similar to this one, and you'll see sites that I contribute to, and it'll have Roxalana Gospel Tabernacle right there. So you go ahead and you hit the edit button, and it'll actually pull the full website up. Alright, so this is actually, you should be pretty familiar with this. It's the home page of your RGT website. You'll notice that over on the left-hand side, there's a bunch of icons: title, text, image, gallery, slideshow. We're going to go over a few of these, but these are actually icons that you're going to use to edit your physical website here. And you'll notice that as I'm kind of highlighting over different areas of the website, this little blue line appears all the way around the box, and it's kind of a perimeter box. What that's actually indicating is this is an element. It's one of the elements that's from the left-hand side. Your website, basically inside this framework, is nothing but element boxes that we pull from the left-hand side over to the right. This one would be an image box, this one would be a text box, and we're going to go over all of these here in just a moment. You'll notice over on the right-hand corner of the box, you actually have a delete button. So at any time that you need to delete an element, move it around, you just simply hit delete. Alright, so let's get started on some of the explanations of what some of these elements are. This scrolling banner that's up here on the front page, this is actually just a slideshow. On some websites, they'll actually have a embedded slideshow feed. On this one, we just simply use the slideshow element over here. So let's say if we wanted to add a new slideshow, or if we want to edit this one. I'll show you how to add a new one first, and then we'll go ahead and edit some of the photos that are within this slideshow. Come over here to the elements box, and all you have to do is you left click on this element. It'll turn blue, and then you notice that anywhere that I drag this, a blue line appears. And where that blue line appears is actually indicating where it's going to dump that element. And it'll actually reformat the entire page around that element. So let's say we wanted to add a slideshow above this one for whatever reason. We just release our mouse. It's going to ask us what style of slideshow we want. And let's say, well, we don't want any thumbnails or numbers, so we're just going to pick a simple slideshow. Hit continue. It'll ask us to upload the photos that we would like to go onto this, so we'll hit this button. And it's going to pop up all the elements just like it would if you were going to do an attachment on an email. So let's pick, trying to pick a website recently. We'll just pick the Topsail Chamber. And there's some different elements in here. It really doesn't matter what photos that you pick. But I'm going to select just a few in here. Hold down the Shift key to select several. And I'll hit open. And it'll automatically go ahead and start uploading all these files to create a new slideshow. Now, I'm going to go ahead and cancel this out because this isn't important. We'll go over all the other elements on the slideshow that's already been created. So you'll notice on RGT's slideshow here, I'll click on it and it's going to pop up a box and actually say add edit photos. So I can simply just click on it and all of the photos that are currently in here are going to upload. Now, I would suggest, at least for the main page slideshow, if there's any other photos that you want to swap out or anything that you want to add, go ahead and contact me directly and send the photo to me. That way I can format it and so that I can give it the same color background, the same stroke around, and the shadowing that's on all these other elements. That way it formats correctly and you don't have the picture kind of jumping around. But anyway, within these actual photo elements, you'll notice that there's a couple little icons on here. You can add a link, you can add a caption, or you can delete the image. Or if you need to add photos, you simply just click on Add Photos. But what we've done is some of these are actually clickable links. So as the slideshow is sitting there scrolling, somebody can actually click on the Rise Up and Build button, and it'll take them immediately to our building project. When you click on the link, you have a couple options. Either you can put in a URL, so you could put in google.com, but you want to make sure to always click on open link in a new window, simply because that'll leave your website open and just open this link into a new tab. Underneath it, though, you have a standard page. So if you wanted that particular photograph to go to anywhere within your website, you click on standard page, and all of the pages that are inside of the website, salvation, statement of faith, our youth ministries, you could actually have this page directly linked to any of those. Currently it's on the Our Building Project page, so we're going to leave it alone. Okay, so now that we're back on the main page, you'll notice that this is actually a clickable area as well as this photograph. All that this photograph is simply the image element. Click and drag it wherever you need it to go, let go of it, and then you can simply upload one photo versus doing multiple photos. And it has the exact same options that we just covered on the slideshow to be able to make that a clickable link, or you can just leave it alone as a photo. You can actually also add a caption to the photo so that a short description pops up right underneath it. So over here, this is actually a text area, which you can click and drag again, the text element right over and dump it wherever you need it to go. But what we're going to do is if you click right inside of this text area, all of the options pop up. And it's very similar to Microsoft Word or any other type of typing program that you're used to. You have bold, italic, underline. You can highlight the text and then hit a plus or minus sign to increase or decrease the font size. You can change the colors of the font, make your own custom color, or you can select a preset. You can actually highlight, let's say if you wanted Roxalana for some reason to be a link to open up another page, you have the link option, the same as on the photographs. You can change your formatting. Right now I believe that we have it as align full so that all the sides are justified. You can make a bulleted list, a numbered list, and let's say that you completely mess up the formatting, you can click remove formatting and it'll take it back to just being straight text. And then you can obviously also undo and redo any of the options that you need. Okay, now what this is underneath, this is actually, this read more button is a button. Over here on the left hand side, you'll notice that you have the button option. You simply just click and drag it. We'll just dump it right underneath. It'll take it a second to load. And then you can type what type of text that you want on the button. If it says read more, you can change your style of button to be large or small. In this case, we'd probably just do a large button. You would change your text of whatever you wanted it to say, and then you can make it a link that would click and go to another part of the page. Alright, so we'll delete this since we don't need it. Okay, so we'll go to one of the other pages like Our Youth. When we click on Our Youth, you'll notice this is again just another slideshow. This is one that you can easily edit, do as many changes as you'd like. If you want to change some of the photographs that are on it, You just simply click on it. You can add and edit photos, and then all of your photo options come up here. So if you want to delete any of these, if some of the youth that are pictured are no longer there, or they're just completely outdated, you can delete the photograph and just simply click add new photos to add more to the slideshow. You'll also notice something we didn't cover a moment ago was if you want to change the navigation speed, you can change it from 5 seconds to as many seconds as you'd like. You can also change the transition style. Right now we have it just fading, but you can have it as a slide, mosaic, fold. Basically it has the exact same options that Microsoft PowerPoint does. So if you're familiar with that, you can easily edit any of these slideshows. Again, as you highlight over these, you'll notice this is just a picture element. This is actually a title, which a title is just a little bit different formatting than your actual text that's below. And this is also just a bulleted text field. So if we clicked in here, we needed to update any of the classes, the names of the classes, you just click on it and it would be a bulleted list. Down here as well, this is again just another text field that you can simply edit, or if you want to delete it and create a new one, you would just hit the delete button and simply draw down another text field and dump your text right in. The great thing is, if you have already typed up a summary, say in Word and Notepad, you can just copy it and paste it directly into one of these text fields. Okay, so under Ministries, again, this is another page that it's the exact same setup. You just have a standard photograph over here. It could be a slideshow if you'd like. All of these are just a text field that's been center formatted, and some of them are clickable links. So we highlight this actual link here, click on link, and you can point it to anywhere else within anybody else's web page. All right. If you want to update any of these pages and the page titles, this is actually a created image that we've done in Photoshop. So if we need to rename any of these pages, again, you could just contact us here at Loggerhead Designs. We would recreate this pretty quickly and upload it to whatever page that you needed. Now on the calendar page, we can embed a Google Calendar if you decide to do so in the future. But the way that we had this set up currently, because all of the actual event pages, all the calendars were being created in either Word or Excel already, what we did was this is actually an element. When you come over and you look, it's just a document element. Simply click and drag document over. And what it's going to do, it's going to actually pop up and it'll say, this is a blank document. To upload a new document, simply click here. Click in the middle and you can upload your new Excel or Word document, and it'll actually allow somebody to preview it the same way that we do here. That way, if they want to scroll through it, when the page is actually live, they'll be able to scroll through and look at that calendar. So we're going to delete this for now. Now on the media page, this is one that we definitely need to cover. Right now, when you click on Photo Gallery, it's simply just slideshows. When you come down through, there's more slideshows. This one is for the September 14th picnic from last year. You can add as many slideshows as you want, or if you want to actually have a gallery, there's a gallery option as well over here on the left-hand side. You can do a gallery, and it looks very similar to all of the same formatting tools as your slideshow. However, instead of it being a scrolling slideshow, it actually has element blocks of 3 or 4 columns, and you can edit that as well. It's very straightforward, simply very user-friendly, so I don't think you'll have any problems when you go to make that edit. Now, the one thing that we need to cover under the media for the sermons, this page is one that we're going to have to correct, which I believe that when Tim goes over it, I'm going to go over the phone with him, and this is something that we can correct. You can see this page is taking a while to load. The reason for that is because there's way too much information listed on this particular page. What we actually need to do is we need to create a new page for every single month. And I'm going to show you how to do that here in just a moment. What I first want to do is kind of go over the elements that are within this page, just so that you know how we did the formatting. Again, we're going to scroll to the bottom, and you'll notice there is um, way too many links on here, and that's what's slowing this page down so much for loading. But I kind of want to go over what these actual elements are. That way, when we create a new page here in a moment, you actually know what they are. This is actually just an audio link. So when you go under media over here on the left hand side, you'll see that it says audio. All that you have to do is you click and drag audio over, which again we'll go over in a minute. When you click on it, you can upload your audio, and it can be a MP3, it can be several different formats. As long as it's an audio file, it pretty much recognizes everything. Track info is where you would want to write the title of the sermon, Worthy is the Lamb, and then the artist was Pastor Tom Price. All right, we're going to click out of that. Anytime you need to click off of something after editing it, just simply click in the white area and it'll delete that from being in your way. Getting a little tongue-tied again. Okay, so this as well, this is actually just a file. You can come over here to where it says File Doc. And again, I don't want you to get it confused with document, but file is simply going to be a downloadable file that somebody can download any of these sermons. You can also do it that if it was a form, let's say that you create a page for going to Camp Caesar and you want to have an online form that people can download, you can actually upload a PDF and you can click over and drag this document. And again, this page is moving slow simply because there's so much that's listed on here. But you would simply just dump down the document. Once it uploads, you click on it and we'd be able to upload the PDF the same way that you do any of these other elements. And again, the reason why this is taking so long is because this page just has so much on it. So after talking to Tom, what we actually decided on is we're going to delete this page and create a new one. But before I delete it, I wanted to go ahead and create this video just so that you guys would have a summary of how to do it. Okay, so what we're going to do to correct this issue is we're actually going to create new pages. Up here on the very top, the Build tab is actually the tab that we're currently under in order to build the web page. Design is one that you don't really want to mess with. That's something more for the coding side, for Loggerhead Designs to mess with. If you get adventurous, you can look at it, but I would say don't mess with any of the options on it, simply because we've already designed the layout for you. Under Pages, when we click on Pages, it'll take it just a second, and it's actually going to pop up the list of all the pages that we've created for your website. What this indicates, anytime you see one that's all the way over to the left, this is your main options that go across the menu that goes across the top. Any of the ones that have been drug over to kind of tab over, these are what they call a subpage underneath the page that's above. So underneath your home page, you have salvation, statement of faith, our building project, beliefs, links of interest. Under our youth, obviously there's no subpages, but under media, you can see that's where we created some of the sermon pages. So what we're going to want to do is when you click on sermon pages, you'll notice that you have a short header. What this short header is simply a photo that just says, our sermons. It's listed on some of the other pages. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a new page. We'll go up here to Add, and you'll select a standard page. You'll notice it drops it all the way down to the bottom. So what we want to do is, let's say that this was sermons January 2015, and we need to make March 2015. What we're going to do is we're going to click and drag and dump this. You can see I can put it anywhere that I would want, but I actually want to put it right up above sermons January 2015. We're going to change the title to, instead of saying sermons, well, we'll go ahead and say sermons. Sermons March 2015. And for now, we're going to say no header. We'll correct this issue, or I'll correct that for you and put your header image in there. But what you can do anytime that you create a new page, just simply say no header. And we're going to go down here and hit save and edit. It'll take it just a moment, and once it pops up, it'll pop up your new page that's Sermons March. It's still thinking. And again, it's mostly because that one page is just so large. There we go. Now we have a blank page. So what we were going to do before, whenever we were creating the sermon listings, was we pulled over a text element, dump that in first, and this is where you're actually going to list the title of the sermon and who it was about. And if you wanted to do a short summary, you could write that in as well, but we're not going to do that for now. We're going to leave that as click here for text, and we'll just call it the new sermon. We'll hit enter, and we'll say that it was by Pastor Tom Price. And if we want to change this so that it's larger, we can make it bold, hit the plus sign, make it a little bit larger. We can change the color to this dark purple color, which is pretty much what's been used for all the titles. You'll notice now that's a different color. If you want to leave it Pastor Tom Price right underneath it, that's fine. So what we're going to do now is we're going to scroll down to the media. We're going to click on audio, and I want it to be to the right of this text field. So I'm going to take it over here, and you'll notice this little blue highlight appeared. We'll dump it right there. And the page automatically formats it so that it goes over as many different elements as I add to the right. It's going to format everything and kind of bunch it up correctly. We would simply click on here and upload the audio file. And then again, track information. This is where you'd want to type in the new sermon. Artist is by Pastor Tom Price. Alright, and if we want to make this a file that you can download, you click on File, dump it right underneath, and you'll notice the blue highlight that goes right underneath the audio file. That way it stays formatted in this right hand column. Click on there, and then you just click to upload the new file, which would be the same audio file that you uploaded over here on the audio section. Okay, and the next thing that you'd want to do just to kind of separate this sermon is there's actually a structure element called divider. You click and drag it over, and make sure that it highlights blue all the way across the page. You release your mouse button, and it's going to dump it right there and create a divider. That way when you do the next sermon right underneath, there's some separation. So you want to make sure that you go ahead and you separate each of these pages by the calendar month. So what we can do is we can actually scroll up to the top. We can add a divider to the top, and instead of having an actual image being the header, what we can do temporarily is just put a title element on the very top, and we'll type in here and say, we'll actually say Sermons March 2015. Again, we can highlight this and change the color to the purple, and we'll make it a little bit larger and bold. That way it stands out clearly that that all the sermons underneath it are going to be March 2015. So again, when you go to create another page, you'll notice that when I go under Media, Sermons March 2015 appears. So all you have to do to create that new page, click on Pages again, and you'll just go down and hit Add Page, Standard Page, and then click and drag it back up above the Sermons March 2015 in order to add, obviously, April, May, and go into June. So what you'll do for all the other older archived ones, you can do the same process, but click and drag it underneath January so that you can do December 2014, and then you can just upload all of your sermons that are archived. All right, so the only other element that I need to show you is we'll go back to build and we'll go to the contact page. On the contact page, it's very simple. You've got a text field over on the left-hand side. And we already covered this, so you already know how to click and make edits on this. The contact page or the contact element over here on the right-hand side, all it is a contact form that you can see on the left-hand side here that's been drug over. When you click on the contact form, some new options pop up. So if you wanted to make it a requirement, say to, I don't know, to let's say put their address in there, we could actually click and drag the address element over into this contact form. It'll dump it in here. And now you can see address, line 1, line 2, city, state, county. When you click on it, it pops up individual options for that box. So if you wanted to, let's say, make it so it's not required, you could actually click on here and say no, it's not required, and you'll notice the little asterisk that's next to comment. You'll notice it's no longer next to address. When I click it, it reappears. And what that means is that somebody could not send a contact form to Pastor Tom unless that they filled out that information. If you wanted to have instructions, so it would say, you know, please make sure to yada yada yada, put in your address. What would happen is when somebody highlights over this, it'll actually pop up the instructions in a yellow box right next to it. We're going to go ahead and delete that element since we don't need it. And some of the options for the actual contact form, if you click in the white space, we'll name it contact form. Right now the email submissions are going to Tom and Deb at suddenlink.net, but if you ever wanted to change that email, you would simply just click in here and change it. When you're finished making those changes, you just click to the outside and then scroll back up and hit save. That's pretty much it. The only other thing that you need to remember is that anytime you make any changes within this page, well, anywhere within your website, the one good thing about Weebly is that as you make all these corrections and changes, it automatically saves everything for you. So you don't have to worry about losing any of the work that you've done. So let's say if you have a power outage or if your internet goes down, Weebly will automatically save any of this information that you've done. And the good thing is that everything that any of the corrections, any of the changes that you make, nothing is going to appear to the general public until you hit this publish button. So once you make all of your changes within the page, you want to make sure to hit publish, and that'll actually push all of the changes to your actual website. So once this gets finished publishing everything, you'll notice that it pops up. And you can ignore this instructions. The only reason it's doing that is because we have two web domains, a .org address and then RGT Church. When you click on RGT Church, your new website will pop up with all the changes that we've made. Just remember that once you create all of these sermon archive pages, once you're finished, I would suggest going into the Pages tab, go to Sermons January 2015, and hit Delete. And delete that page. All right,